Let's go back to our pre-COVID mindset, okay?
Yep.
And then move forward with one change. Those with the instinct to silence critics, right? The people who accused us of being anti-vaxxers or conspiracy theorists or any of the other slanders that were used to shut down discussion. Let's just imagine that had worked, right? So we got through COVID. No Rogan, right? Malone doesn't have a venue. Corey doesn't have a venue. McCullough doesn't have a venue, right? You and I are silent. John Campbell thrown off YouTube, So the point is, the mainstream narrative carries the day, right? And we arrive here in 2023 with that having been the only change. Well, what is it that people would currently believe, right? They would currently believe that the vaccines had been safe and effective, that they had actually controlled the pandemic, right? They would have believed all of these things. They would continue to believe them. They would continue to believe that this had been a zoonotic outbreak, and therefore that the money that we have spent on gain-of-function research has been too little, not too much. Because what we really need to do is accelerate that work so the next time it doesn't get out ahead of us, right? If you silence those voices, then in 2023, you are living a totally upside-down garbage narrative designed to make pharma the hero of the pandemic.
Oh, and many people are. Many people are living
Well, many
that
people
still.
are, but my point is the current discussion we are having, right, about, geez, were all of the things that RFK Jr. said on Joe Rogan true, right? Well, look, you're dealing with one of the few venues in which truth managed to get out and it put pharma back on its heels. So, is perfection the standard that you're looking for there? No, what you're looking for is the net effect of us being able to have these discussions has been very positive. We'd probably be much better off if the censorious thing had been shut down itself and we had been allowed to speak freely about this and doctors had been encouraged to voice their concerns, right? So we're living in, a halfway position where we did manage to have discussions we weren't supposed to have. And so civilization is way better off than it would be because it has insight in a lot of these things, but yet it still believes total nonsense on repurposed drugs for some reason, still hasn't figured out the relationship between vaccines and escape mutants, right? Still hasn't figured out the IgG4 issue and the suppressed immunity that we're seeing, right? So it has a long way to go, but we could be a lot worse off if we had simply, if the people who now want to shut down these discussions, on Joe Rogan's program had succeeded 2 years ago.
I would like to propose that what they are engaged in, those people who would like to shut down the conversations, the people not just at the so-called public health organizations like the CDC and the WHO, and not just at the supposedly scientific granting institutions like the NIH and NIAID and NSF and all the academic institutions and all the journalistic outfits, who, had, COVID reporters that, reliably got everything wrong, that they're engaged in a follow the science circle jerk. And that that's all they're ever going to be capable of doing at this point is patting each other on the back, or worse. Maybe it's more fun for them, but it's not revealing anything outside of their little bubble. They're stuck in their space, and they are plugging their ears and screaming whenever anything comes in that looks in any way dangerous to the narrative. I think a lot of people who think of themselves who don't think that they are fully orthodox, right? Who don't think that they're just following along, sort of have given themselves an allotment for how much heterodoxy they can take, right? Like there's oh, well, I already, okay, I'm on the wrong side of this, and my former liberal this, and I'm anti-woke and I talk about it, and so I just don't want to make a fuss over here. I'm not going to look because I can't afford to lose more people or more credibility or more whatever. Oh, and sometimes the excuse is, well, I'm not a scientist, so I can't assess it, and why should I believe you when I can just believe all these other people who I know are lying to me about all these other things, but I'm just going to trust them on this one, even though the stakes are really a lot higher. So, you know what? Everyone needs to get over this. Everyone needs to get over this. Oh, I've already been heterodox in one part of my life today. I did that. I took that heterodox pill. And so like, I'm done for now. I'm going to go back and like, just go mainstream for the rest of the day because it allows me to enjoy my appetizers. Well, at some level, like, fuck you. Like, stop this. You're seriously destroying people's lives. And on the basis that you think you're following some science that isn't science. It doesn't exist. The science on which we are basing so many of our decisions doesn't turn out to exist at all. It's incredible.
Yeah. So this is my concern about the middle ground scramble.
It's exactly what this is.
If you have a budget for heterodoxy, rather than, hey, I don't know how much has been compromised, but every time I look under one of these rocks, I see the creepy crawlies. Yeah. It's like, well,
put it back. Put the rock back.
Right. The thing to do is to become agnostic, not to double down on the part that you're not ready to look at. And so, you know, that is what I'm getting at. Like, how is it that you've seen, Vinay, how is it that you've seen what you've seen about the vaccines and you apparently haven't looked deeply into the question of ivermectin, right? If you did look, you would find shenanigans of the same sort that accompanied the vaccine. So there's the amount of heterodoxy. It's not that heterodoxy is good, but the point is, in an era of, you know, pure corporate bullshit, heterodoxy is the way to see with clarity, right? In an era in which the system actually functioned, it wouldn't be. It doesn't mean there's no heterodoxy. There will always be, you know, people who see beyond what we collectively understand. But somebody is actively deranging us, and seeing past their nonsense is key. And you know, and I guess, you know, we haven't talked about the middle ground scramble in many months, but the middle ground scramble is the obstacle to fixing the problem. It seems like it's halfway to the solution. It is actually the thing that will be used to prevent the actual solution.
Yep. That's right. I think I'm done ranting for today.
You're done ranting for today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm at my limit, and I'm just going to go on and enjoy my appetizers now.
All right. Well, I didn't know there were appetizers, but
I thought you were making
I was
those
on
along
appetizers?
with the cookies. Yes.
Well, we're gonna have light appetizers.
Yeah. Lights are going to drink the sunshine.
There it is.